Hey guys, it's Lonnie Cochran with Gunnersville Guide Service. Just got in off a trip today. It's kind of cool, raining. Going to show you some of the baits that I've been using, some of the new rods that we were fortunate enough to bless to sign a deal with Pure Fishing this year, as a lot of you already know. But some of the guys that's been out with me have been fishing with these rods. I had a guy for 2 days now that brought his G Loomis and fished with these Abu reels and rods that I've got. This is the Veracity lineup in a medium heavy. We've been throwing a chatterbait, the Shock Blade Pro, a lot. It's got the ALF reel, and we've thrown it in the 8 ratio and the 6 ratio, you know, depending on how fast we were retrieving it. But throwing 15-pound 100% Berkeley fluorocarbon, and that's what we've caught a lot of our fish on the last couple of days. These rods are light. I put them on the scales with the line and the bait. The rod and reel combo, 11 ounces. You're not going to get tired throwing these rods all day. I mean, you're going to be able to throw it and go home and rest good. Your shoulder's not going to hurt unless it's pulling in fish. And we've had some of those days lately. This is a 7.3 medium heavy that we're throwing the chatterbait on. I know there's a lot of guys like to throw it on glass rods. That's getting big. Myself here on Gunnersville, I'm in and out of this grass, and I want something with some backbone to rip it out and clean that bait off. Even when I'm fishing the hard bottoms, I want to be able to get in that grass, rip it out, and then those fish see it coming across that hard bottom. Here's another version of that rod. This is a 7.6 heavy. It's got the A-rig with the Scottsboro tackle 3-inch swim baits. Those things are deadly. When this water temp is 50 degrees and below, it's hard to beat. I mean, those baits, they've got a little tighter wobble than most small swim baits. And, you know, in that cold water, that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a bait with a lot of action to hunt. I want that tight wobble on my swim baits to get me more bites. There again, this is Veracity. All of the rods for my clients are set up the same. They can go from a 7-foot medium action with a 6 ratio reel, and it's the same reel. It's the Abu Garcia Revo ALFs. They are light, and you can cast them a mile. They match these rods real well. This is a 7.6 heavy, goes up to 2 ounces. I can throw my big football jigs, my A-rigs. It's gonna handle it. I mean, I've boat flipped. I've used the rods myself already. I've caught 7-pounders on it already. You know, I had 2 back-to-back one day. I've boat flipped 4 and 5-pounders with it already. No problems whatsoever. So when you go from a 7.6 heavy with this rod, throwing an A-rig, well, I want to throw a chatterbait, and then you turn around and you pick up this 7.3 medium heavy. Other than the length of the rod, you got the same feel. When you grab this reel with your hand, it feels the same as that 7.6 heavy, other than the length or the bigger line. On the 7.6 heavy, I'm throwing 20-pound Berkeley 100% fluorocarbon. That's what I run my rigs on. I don't use braid a lot. I'm kind of partial to fluorocarbon. Same way with my spinning reels, same rod. So every rod that we use is going to be the same rod, same reel. You're not going to go from a big bulky reel to, you know, something really small and compact. All these reels are going to feel the same in your hand. You're just going to have a different action and a different length rod. You can do that. You know, everybody is not the same on that. Me personally, I want the same feel. All I want to be changing is the action of the rod and the length. I don't want to change how heavy the rod is, what the feel is in my hand. That's a personal preference for me. And I want all my clients to be the same. You know, I don't want to pick up a reel and say, well, wow, this one's heavy, or this one's lighter, I'd rather throw that one. All of them's going to feel the same. You're just going to have a different action for different baits. You know, y'all hear me talk about Scottsboro Tackle a lot. Well, they're good people and they've helped me a lot. I've been talking about this sniper shad lately. Maybe you get a better picture of it. That sniper shad on these Picasso Shock Blade Pros. Now, I've never thrown the Shock Blade. I got some of these in my hand. I've always thrown the Z-Man original. I never bought into the, you know, different kinds of baits. You get that original Z-Man around the fish, they're going to bite it. You know, the jackhammer, there's people that's really strong with the jackhammer. I have nothing against it. I've been fishing side by side with people throwing a jackhammer and I'm throwing the original. I catch just as many. You got to get around the fish. Now, I've got jackhammers too. I throw jackhammers too. I have no issues with that. I don't want anybody to think that I'm talking bad about the jackhammer, because I'm not. They all got a time and a place. This new Shock Blade Pro, the head design on it, I really like it. It's got an aluminum blade, and it's got a head design. I don't know if you can see that in this camera. It's like a sled, the way the head's made. This blade is aluminum, and it hits really, really hard. After throwing it 20 minutes, the blade is eating down into the lead on the head. You can hear it chattering just dragging it by the boat under the water. When you put these two together, and like I say, I know there's some guys that jackhammer is a good bait, but when you put these two, this combination, this Scottsboro Tackle Sniper Shad with this Picasso Shock Blade Pro, it's a killer right now. I'm catching a lot of fish on it. I'm catching big fish on it. It's just doing really good for me right now. You know, I've got Z-Man tied on. I keep Z-Man tied on all the time. I fish chatterbait a lot. I may have 5 chatterbaits tied on at the same time, different kinds, different styles. One with the straight tails, you know, sniper shad. I may have a paddle tail on it. It just depends on where I'm at and what I'm trying to do that day. This is a green pumpkin color in this Shock Blade. You know, if you're a green pumpkin guy, this here, if I can get it. Oops, it's a shark. This here is the Royal Red. Now, some of you guys around Gunnersville, y'all know what this does. You know, we got a window coming up that's probably a month long or a little longer, that this red, you're going to want to have one tied on. You may not want to throw it all day, every day. You better have it tied on to pick it up every once in a while. It's going to come to play. And then, of course, you know, you got your shad colors. Anytime you're on a lake or a river system that your natural forage is shad, I'm going to throw shad. So, you know, if they're feeding on shad, I want something that looks like a shad. But anyway, you know, I just wanted to let everybody know, rainy day, and we're sitting in here. These new rods, they are awesome. I mean, when you got somebody that brings their G Loomis with you, and they lay those down and they pick these up and use these, you know you got something good. And they're really nice. They're light. They're sensitive. You get some long distance casts with them. Don't have any problem. You got heavy drags on these reels. I know the Premier that I'm using, it's got a 24-pound drag. If you want to tighten it down and move the earth, you can do it. I'm not sure what these ALF drags is. I'll have to look and see, but they're strong. And this line, this fluorocarbon line, had no issues with it. I used to fish it long before I got with pure fishing, so it wasn't a problem me going back to it. It's really good line, but I am a person that believes in fluorocarbon over mono. I use fluorocarbon anytime I can get away with fluorocarbon. That's what I'm using. But we had a good morning. I'll probably post this video instead of pictures. It was raining, didn't take but one picture, getting it out and getting the phone out in the rain. But the fish, they got knocked in the head a little bit with this cold snap that come through. I mean, some of the places where the water temp was 57 to 60 degrees. I hit one place day before yesterday, it was 37 degrees when we started out, and by the end of the day it only got up to 40. So, you know, those fish were a little sluggish. But now yesterday and today we got on some fish. Now yesterday we didn't catch the numbers. We had some good fish. Had a good sack of fish. Today we got out and we fished 4 hours or so in the rain, and we caught quite a few. We ended up catching 15 or 16 fish this morning, and there again we had some good quality fish. And we're throwing that Shock Blade Pro and the sniper shad. So, you know, that's what we're doing. And guys might want to check, you know, if you are in the market for a new rod and reel, check out the Abu ALF and the Veracity rod. The Premier rods and reels, they are awesome as well. I just figured I'd show this one because this is what my clients are using, and I've been caught using them myself. I like these rods. Next year I may order just all of these instead of the Premiers. But these are really good rods and reels. Check them out if you're in the market for a new rod and reel. I think you won't be disappointed. I've not had a client in the boat yet that once they, you know, some of them, they bring their own rods. They've got the expensive rod and reels. And this setup here, it'll set you back about $450. I think the rods are $200 and the reels about $249. And you know, I've got good stuff for my clients to fish with. But you know, if you're in the market for that price range of rod, check these out. You won't be disappointed. Until next time, good luck.